Commander Olivia Bennett stood alone in the massive chamber. Her heart beat faster than normal, but her face showed no fear. 50 alien representatives stared at her from their tall seats. Some had many eyes. Others had no eyes at all. Some looked like insects. Others resembled plants or rocks. All of them seemed to look down on her, both literally and in spirit. Olivia was the first human to stand before the Seven Systems Council. The blue and white uniform of Earth Space Command felt too tight around her neck. She wished she could loosen it, but she kept her hands firmly at her sides. Any sign of weakness would be noticed. Species: human. Planet: Earth. Reason for appearance: petition for membership in the Seven Systems Alliance. The voice came from everywhere at once, translated into English by the small device in her ear. High Arbitrator Zorix rose from the center seat. His silver skin reflected the chamber's lights. Each of his forearms held a different ceremonial object. He towered over 3 meters tall. "We have reviewed your petition, Human Bennett," Zorix said. His voice was deep and smooth, almost pleasant, if not for his words. "The Council finds Earth's application lacking." Olivia had expected this. Intelligence reports from Earth's first contacts with alien traders had warned her. The Council viewed new species as resources, not equals. "High Arbitrator, members of the Council," Olivia said, keeping her voice steady. "Humanity offers many benefits as full members. Our scientific advances in medicine alone could—" "Silence," interrupted a round, gelatinous being to Zorix's right. "I am Representative Kelluur of the Vantian Combine. Your species has barely achieved basic star travel. The medical advances you mention are primitive compared to Council standards." Olivia bit her tongue. Getting angry would not help Earth's position. Behind her calm face, her mind was working quickly, noting which Council members seemed hostile and which merely looked bored. "Humans have passionate spirits," said another Council member, one with green scales and 4 eyes. "They would make excellent labor forces for the outer colonies. Perhaps as a protected species rather than full members?" The chamber filled with sounds of agreement. Olivia's stomach turned. She had not come all this way to sign humanity up for servitude. "With respect," she said, louder this time, "Earth does not seek protection. We seek partnership." This caused several representatives to make sounds that the translator identified as laughter. "Bold words from a species that could be wiped out by a single Council warship," said Kelluur. Olivia's training included detailed study of Council members. The Vantians were known for their direct threats. They often tested new species to see how they would respond. "A single warship could indeed cause great damage," Olivia agreed calmly. "But warfare is rarely beneficial to either side. Earth prefers peaceful trade and exchange of ideas." A tall, thin alien with crystal-like skin spoke. "Next, I am Representative Nix of the Solari Confederation. Tell us, Human Bennett, what could your world possibly offer that we do not already have in abundance?" This was the opening Olivia had waited for. She pressed a small button on her wrist device. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed Earth's solar system, then zoomed in on the asteroid belt. "Recent surveys have found large deposits of Quantium-40 in our system," she said. The chamber grew quiet. Quantium-40 was rare and valuable for faster-than-light travel. The Council used it in all their advanced ships. "These readings are interesting," said Zorix carefully, "but unconfirmed. And even if true, the Council could simply take these resources if needed." "You could try," Olivia said. Her words hung in the air like a challenge. "But Earth is not defenseless. We prefer peaceful trade, but we are prepared to protect what is ours." It was a risky statement. Earth's defenses were still developing. They could not truly stand against Council forces. But Olivia had studied negotiation tactics for years before becoming a commander. Sometimes appearing confident was more important than actual strength. Perhaps a compromise, suggested a bug-like Council member. Earth could be granted provisional status. Not full membership, but not a protected world either. Olivia knew this was the best she could hope for today. Full membership would take time and careful strategy. What would provisional status entail? She asked. You would be permitted limited trade with Council worlds, explained Zorix. A small human delegation would be allowed on the Council station. Earth would provide resource tributes naturally. In return, we would not interfere with your internal affairs. The terms were far from ideal. Resource tributes meant the Council would take what they wanted from Earth's system. But having a delegation on the station would give humanity eyes and ears in Council space. It was a starting point. Earth would consider provisional status, Olivia said carefully, with fair and clearly defined resource agreements, not tributes. Zorix's forearms moved in a pattern that Olivia could not interpret. Very well. The Council will draft terms for Earth's provisional status. You and your small crew may remain aboard Council station until the arrangements are finalized. Olivia bowed slightly, a human gesture that her briefing suggested would be seen as respectful without seeming submissive. Thank you, High Arbitrator. Earth looks forward to a productive relationship. As Olivia left the chamber, she heard Kelur speaking to another representative. Such a fragile species. They will learn their place soon enough. Olivia smiled to herself. The Council thought humans were weak because they were physically smaller than most Council races. They saw Earth as a new world to exploit. This was exactly what Earth's intelligence had predicted, and it gave Olivia the advantage she needed. Back on her ship, the Ascendant, Olivia's crew waited anxiously. How did it go, Commander? Asked Ryan Carter, her chief engineer. Exactly as expected, Olivia replied. They underestimate us. They think we're simple and eager to please. And are we? Asked Dr. Samantha Powell, looking up from her scientific instruments. We are whatever we need to be, Olivia said. Now we're humble newcomers. We'll accept their provisional status. It gets us access to their station and their communications network. Security Officer Marcus Wright frowned. They'll be watching us closely. Let them watch, Olivia said. They'll see what they expect to see. Meanwhile, we'll learn everything about them. Their strengths, their weaknesses, their conflicts with each other. Communications specialist. Alan Garcia nodded in understanding. Classic strategic assessment. Know your potential adversary better than they know themselves. Exactly, said Olivia. The Council has existed for thousands of years. They're set in their ways. They think they know how this will play out because they've done it dozens of times with other species. She looked at her crew, her expression serious. But they've never dealt with humans before. And that's their mistake. We adapt. We observe. We find leverage. We don't need to be the strongest to win. We just need to be the smartest. The crew nodded in agreement. They had been chosen for this mission not just for their technical skills, but for their ability to think creatively. So what's our first move, Commander? Asked Ryan. Olivia smiled. We give them exactly what they expect. We play the part of the grateful, naive newcomers. And we watch. We listen. We learn. The Council thought they were dealing with a simple, primitive species. They would soon learn how badly they had underestimated one human. And by the time they realized their mistake, it would be too late. 3 weeks had passed since the first Council meeting. Olivia and her crew now had small quarters on Council Station, a massive structure that housed thousands of beings from all across the 7 systems. Their living space was in the lowest levels, far from the Council chambers and important areas. This was meant as an insult, but Olivia saw it as an opportunity. The maintenance tunnels run through this entire section, Ryan Carter said, pointing to a holographic map he had built. From his explorations of the station, the Council races are mostly larger than humans. They don't fit into these spaces well, so security is minimal. The crew of the Ascendant gathered in Olivia's quarters. They spoke quietly, though Ryan had already swept the room for listening. Devices twice. What have you learned about their communications, Alan? Olivia asked. Alan Garcia adjusted his glasses. Their network is advanced but outdated. They haven't updated their security in over 100 years. Why would they? No one has challenged them in that time. Can you access their private channels? Olivia asked. Alan smiled. I already have. They encrypt their messages, but the methods are simple compared to what we use on Earth. I've been collecting data for 2 weeks. Olivia nodded with approval. Samantha, what about the council species themselves? Dr. Powell brought up her own holographic display. Fascinating biology. Each species evolved on different worlds with different conditions. They have unique strengths, but also unique weaknesses. The Vantians, for example, cannot tolerate certain sound frequencies. The Solari are sensitive to specific light patterns. Information we might need later, Olivia said. Marcus, station security? Security officer. Wright looked serious as always. Their guards are strong and well-armed, but their patterns are predictable. They run the same security routines every day at the same times. No variations, no random checks. Perfect, Olivia said. They've grown comfortable, predictable. She stood up and walked to the window. From here they could see ships coming and going from the station. Ships from all 7 council worlds carrying goods, people, and information. The council meeting tomorrow will review our provisional status, she said. They'll present their terms. We already know they'll be harsh. Earth will be expected to provide large amounts of resources with little in return. Can we refuse? Samantha asked. Not yet, Olivia said. We need more time, more information. Ryan frowned. Meanwhile, Earth suffers. The preliminary demands they've sent already require more minerals than we can easily provide. Earth's leaders understand the strategy, Olivia assured him. Short-term pain for long-term gain. We need the council to think we're cooperative, even submissive. While we learn all their secrets, Alan added. Exactly, Olivia said. A soft beep came from Alan's communication device. He checked it, his eyes widening. Commander, I just intercepted a private message between Zorix and Kelur. They're discussing ways to increase Earth's resource quotas once the provisional agreement is signed. They're already planning to exploit us further, Marcus said, his hands tightening into fists. Of course they are, Olivia replied calmly. That's their pattern. They start with demands that seem reasonable, then increase them once a species is committed. But we know their game, Ryan said. Yes, Olivia agreed. And more importantly, we know something they don't realize. What's that? Samantha asked. They don't all trust each other, Olivia said. I've been watching them in council sessions. The Vantians and the Krith barely tolerate each other. There's tension between the Solari and the Nexus Collective. Ancient rivalries, old wars that ended in uncertain peace. Alan nodded in understanding. The council presents a united front to outsiders, but internally, they're divided. And divisions can be exploited, Olivia said. Alan, how hard would it be to redirect some of their communications? Make sure certain messages meant for one species accidentally reach others? Alan thought for a moment. With their outdated security? Not difficult at all. Good. But not yet, Olivia said. First, we play their game. Tomorrow, we accept their terms, no matter how harsh. We appear grateful for the opportunity to be part of their great alliance. The next day, Olivia stood alone in the council chamber again. The terms were displayed on a large screen. Earth would need to provide massive amounts of minerals, biological, samples, and even human cultural artifacts. In return, they would receive minimal technology and limited access to council space. These are the terms of Earth's provisional status, Zorix announced. Do you accept on behalf of your species? Olivia had expected bad terms. These were worse. Earth would struggle to meet these demands. But she kept her face neutral, even adding a small smile. Earth accepts these generous terms, she said, forcing warmth into her voice. We look forward to proving our worth to the council. Kelur's gelatinous form rippled with what seemed like satisfaction. The human accepts quickly. Perhaps their species is more reasonable than we thought. Or more desperate, added a Krith representative, her insect-like mandibles clicking. Olivia signed the agreement with a steady hand. As she turned to leave, she heard Zorix speaking to another council member. Once they've exhausted their easily accessible minerals, we'll offer them mining technology in exchange for permanent mining rights. Within a year, we'll control their entire system. Olivia kept walking, showing no sign she had heard. The universal translators were good, but not perfect. The council members often forgot this and spoke too freely around lesser species like humans. Back in their quarters, Olivia shared what she had heard with her crew. "So they plan to take everything," Ryan said angrily. "That's always been their plan," Olivia replied. "But now we know their timeline, 1 year. That's how long we have to turn their own arrogance against them." "What's our next move?" Marcus asked. "We continue gathering information," Olivia said. "Every secret, every weakness, every conflict between council species, and we start making friends." "Friends?" Samantha asked. "Among the council races?" "Not the leaders," Olivia clarified. "The ordinary people. There are thousands of beings on this station. Not all of them benefit from the council's policies. Some may have their own grievances." "I've noticed that," Alan said. "The station workers, especially those from frontier worlds, often complain about council taxation and trade restrictions." "Potential allies," Olivia said, nodding. "We need to build a network, eyes and ears throughout the station." "And meanwhile?" Ryan asked. "Meanwhile, we send encoded reports back to Earth. We warn them about the council's true intentions. And we prepare." "For what?" Marcus asked, though he likely knew the answer. Olivia's eyes were determined. "For the day when we show the council exactly how badly they've underestimated humanity." On the other side of the station, High Arbitrator Zorix reviewed the signed agreement with satisfaction. "Another obedient species added to our sphere of influence," he said to Kaelor. "These humans will provide useful resources for generations to come." "Indeed," Kaelor agreed, "a simple species easily managed." Neither of them realized that their conversation was being recorded, analyzed, and transmitted back to Earth. Neither understood that their greatest mistake was already made. They had judged humanity by their physical size, not by the power of their minds or the strength of their determination. The council had no idea what was coming. 2 months passed on Council Station. Earth struggled under the heavy demands for resources. Ships left Earth's solar system filled with minerals, only to return nearly empty. The council provided little in exchange for Earth's riches. Olivia walked through the lower markets of the station. She no longer attracted as much attention. The various aliens had grown used to seeing the small human female wandering about. She wore simple clothes now, not her uniform. She looked harmless. "Commander Bennett?" A voice called softly. Olivia turned to see Nex, a worker from the Solari species. His crystal-like skin glimmered under the market lights. He was young for his kind, only 60 Earth years old. "Just Olivia here," she reminded him with a smile. "Of course," Nex said. "I have the information you asked about. The shipment schedules for next month." Nex worked in the station's cargo bays. Like many lower-level workers, he felt the council cared little for those who weren't rich or powerful. Olivia had befriended him weeks ago. "Thank you," she said, taking the small data chip he offered. "This helps more than you know. The Vantians are demanding more ships with bigger holds," Nex said quietly. "They say Earth minerals are needed urgently." Olivia nodded. "I'm not surprised." "It isn't right," Nex said. "My people were once treated the same way when we first joined the council. Now we're members, but the ordinary Solari still struggle while the elites prosper." "Perhaps things will change someday," Olivia suggested. "Perhaps," Nex agreed without much hope. "Be careful, Olivia. I've heard the Vantians talking. They aren't happy with how much information humans are gathering. They think you ask too many questions." "I'm just a curious visitor," Olivia said innocently. After leaving Nex, Olivia took a long, winding path back to her quarters. She made sure no one followed her. The crew was waiting when she arrived. "How's the project coming?" she asked Ryan. The engineer looked up from his work. "It's ready. I've created a backdoor into their main communication system. We can now intercept any message, change its contents, and send it on with no trace." "Excellent," Olivia said. "Alan, are the target communications identified?" Alan nodded. "Yes, Commander. I've isolated the private channels between the Vantians and the Krith. Their messages are the most hostile toward each other. Small changes to their words could increase tension significantly. Let's start small, Olivia cautioned. Subtle changes. Nothing that would immediately be recognized as tampering. Samantha looked concerned. Are we sure this is the right approach? Creating conflict between council species? We're not creating conflict, Olivia clarified. We're revealing conflicts that already exist. The council presents unity to outsiders, while they scheme against each other in private. We're just removing the mask. Marcus had been quiet, but now he spoke. There's another problem. Earth sent a message. The Vantians are increasing their demands again. They want double the mineral. Shipments next month? Olivia frowned. Earth can't sustain that level of extraction. Exactly, Marcus said. Earth's leaders are asking for guidance. They trust your strategy, but people are beginning to suffer from resource shortages. Olivia looked at her crew. They had worked tirelessly for weeks, gathering information, making connections, finding weaknesses in the council's systems. It was time to move to the next phase. Tell Earth to delay the next shipment, she said. Cite technical problems. We need to buy time. The council won't be happy, Ryan warned. Good, Olivia said. Let them call me in to explain. It gives me another chance to appear before the full council. The next day, Olivia stood once again in the council chamber. As expected, the Vantian representative Kilur was angry about the delayed shipment. Earth agreed to specific terms, Kilur said, his gelatinous form turning a dark red. Delays are unacceptable. I apologize for the inconvenience, Olivia said, bowing her head slightly. Earth has experienced some technical issues with our mining equipment. The shipment will only be delayed by 2 weeks. 2 weeks? Kilur's form rippled with anger. The Vantian Combine has production schedules based on receiving these minerals. High Arbitrator Zorix raised one of his 4 hands. Perhaps the human doesn't understand the importance of timely deliveries. Their species is still learning our ways. We understand perfectly, Olivia said, allowing a small edge to enter her voice. Just as we understand that the original agreement has been changed 3 times to demand more resources. This caused murmurs among the council members. Some seemed surprised. The adjustments were within council authority, Zorix said smoothly. Of course, Olivia agreed. I merely point out that Earth has been extremely accommodating. We ask for small understanding in return. The Krith representative Tsik leaned forward. The human raises a fair point. The Vantians have been quick to demand Earth's minerals. One wonders why they need so much so quickly. Keller turned toward Tsik. The needs of the Vantian Combine are not the concern of the Krith coalition. They are when Vantian ships have been seen near Krith space, Tsik replied. Olivia kept her face neutral, but inside she felt satisfaction. Alan's careful message manipulation was working. The Vantians had indeed sent ships near Krith space, but for routine patrol. Alan had changed a few words in the report to make it seem suspicious. My friends, Olivia said, her voice calm and reasonable. Earth will deliver all promised resources. A small delay due to technical problems is not cause for concern. Unless there is some urgent need I'm not aware of. Kilur's form rippled again. No, there is no urgent need. Then the matter is settled, Zorix declared. Earth will deliver the shipment as soon as possible. This council session is ended. As the council members filed out, Olivia noticed Tsik and Kilur exchanging hostile looks. The seeds of distrust were growing. Back in her quarters, Olivia received an unexpected visitor. It was Representative Nix of the Solari. Commander Bennett, Nix said formally. May I speak with you privately? Olivia nodded, curious. A council member had never visited the human quarters before. I observed something interesting today, Nix said once they were alone. You managed to turn a simple shipping delay into a political issue between the Vantians and the Krith. Olivia kept her expression neutral. I merely explained Earth's situation. Indeed, Nix said, unconvinced. The Solari have been part of the Council for 1,000 years. We've watched how new species are treated. The pattern is always the same. What pattern is that? Olivia asked. Exploitation until resistance, then conflict, then eventual absorption as a lower-tier member, Nix explained. But humans are following a different path. You appear to comply while gathering allies and information. Olivia said nothing, waiting. The Solari remember when we were in your position, Nix continued. Some of us believe the Council has strayed from its original purpose, of mutual benefit. Some of us might welcome changes. What are you suggesting, Representative Nix? Olivia asked carefully. Nothing specific, Nix said. Merely noting that humans might find allies in unexpected places. If your plans ever move beyond gathering information, the Solari might be interested in a different arrangement between our worlds. After Nix left, Olivia called her crew together. It seems our actions haven't gone unnoticed, she said, sharing what Nix had told her. Is it a trap? Marcus asked, suspicious as always. Possibly, Olivia admitted. Or it could be a genuine offer of alliance. Either way, it shows our strategy is working. The Council is not as united as they want us to believe. What's our next move? Ryan asked. Olivia smiled. We escalate. Alan, it's time for those message changes to become less subtle. Let's make sure the Vantians and Krith discover exactly what they've been saying about each other behind closed doors. The pieces were falling into place. While the Council thought they were dealing with a simple, compliant species, Olivia was carefully orchestrating their downfall from within. The Council had underestimated humans from the start. Soon, they would learn just how costly that mistake would be. 4 months had passed since Olivia's conversation with Representative Nix. The tension on Council Station had grown steadily worse. The Vantians and Krith were now openly hostile to each other. They accused each other of resource theft, border violations, and secret military buildups. 3 council sessions had ended in shouting matches. Olivia sat in a quiet corner of the station's observation deck. From here, she could see ships coming and going. More military vessels had arrived in recent weeks. The Vantians had brought a small battle group. The Krith had responded with ships of their own. Alan approached and sat beside her. It's working better than we expected, he said quietly. Too well, perhaps, Olivia replied. I wanted to create division, not start a war. The hatred was already there, Alan reminded her. We just removed their ability to hide it. Olivia nodded. Through careful manipulation of communications, her crew had ensured that every insult, every threat, every secret plan discussed by one species was leaked to others. The Council's hidden conflicts were now in the open. How's Earth? She asked. Better, Alan said. With the Council distracted by their own problems, they've stopped increasing our resource demands. Some shipments have even been delayed because the Council can't agree on distribution. And our other project? Alan smiled. Ryan finished it yesterday. We now have complete access to the Council's emergency broadcast system. We can send any message to every ship, station, and planet in Council space. Good, Olivia said. Let's hope we don't need it. Their conversation was interrupted by a station-wide announcement. All Council representatives must report to the main chamber immediately. Emergency session. Olivia stood. Time to see what's happening. Unlike previous meetings, this one allowed observers. The chamber was packed with representatives from all Council species. Olivia found a place at the back, watching carefully. High Arbitrator Zorix looked troubled as he called the meeting to order. This Council has maintained peace among our worlds for 10,000 years, he began. Yet now we stand on the brink of conflict. The Vantian representative Kelur rose. The Krith have positioned attack ships near our colony on Marix. Fauci, this is an act of aggression, Zeke of the Krith responded immediately. We are merely protecting our trade routes, which Vantian pirates have been raiding for months. Lies. Kelur's gelatinous form turned almost black with rage. Other Council members began shouting. Accusations flew across the chamber. Old disputes and ancient grudges surfaced. The Solari accused the Nexus Collective of stealing technology. The Draxi Imperials threatened to withdraw from Council trade agreements. Zorix raised all forearms. Silence, this behavior is beneath us. We are the Seven Systems Council. We resolve disputes through discussion, not threats. Easy to say when Your world isn't threatened. Zik clicked her mandibles angrily. In the chaos, Representative Nix of the Solari approached Olivia. An interesting development, the crystalline being said quietly. Very, Olivia agreed. The Solari have reviewed our options, Nix continued. We believe it's time for change. My government has authorized me to discuss a separate alliance with Earth. Olivia kept her face neutral, though inside she felt a surge of excitement. I would be happy to relay such an offer to my government. Do. So quickly, Nix advised. Events are moving faster than expected. The council session continued for hours with little progress. By the end, 2 more species had threatened to withdraw from council agreements. Zorix could barely maintain order. When Olivia returned to her quarters, her crew was waiting anxiously. It's chaos out there, Marcus said. Controlled chaos, Olivia corrected. And an opportunity. The Solari have offered a direct alliance with Earth. Samantha looked concerned. Can they be trusted? Not completely, Olivia admitted. But they have the most to gain from a council reorganization. They've always been treated as second-class members despite their technological advances. What about the message to Earth? Ryan asked. It's time, Olivia decided. Send the full report, all the information we've gathered on council weaknesses, species conflicts, and potential allies. Tell them to prepare the fleet. The fleet? Samantha asked, surprised. Are we planning for war? No, Olivia said firmly. We're planning for leverage. Earth has been building ships for months, using the minerals the council didn't take. Ships, with technology adapted from what we've learned here. How many ships? Marcus asked. 500, Olivia said. Not enough to win a war against the council, but enough to tip the balance if the council is already divided. The next day brought shocking news. A Vantian patrol ship had fired on a Krith vessel near disputed space. The Krith had destroyed the Vantian ship in response. The council chamber erupted in chaos when the news arrived. Kaelur demanded immediate military action against the Krith. Zik insisted her people had acted in self-defense. Other council members took sides. Only the Solari and the rarely vocal Myth remained neutral. This council is failing, Nix declared, addressing Zorix directly. For too long we have allowed the stronger members to exploit the weaker. Now we face the consequences. Zorix looked old and tired. What would you have me do? The council has procedures, traditions. Traditions that no longer serve us, Nix replied. Olivia watched from her observer position, saying nothing. Events were unfolding faster than even she had anticipated. The council was fracturing before her eyes. That evening, an urgent message arrived from Earth. The fleet was ready. 500 ships waited at the edge of Earth's solar system. They could reach council space in 3 days. Olivia gathered her crew for one final strategy session. Tomorrow, she said, we make our move. The council is divided. Some members are already considering withdrawal. The Solari have offered alliance. It's time to show our true strength. What's the plan? Ryan asked. We address the full council, Olivia explained. We reveal that we know about their internal conflicts, their exploitation of new species, their lies. We offer an alternative. And if they refuse? Marcus asked. Then we use Ryan's access to the emergency broadcast system. We send our evidence to every world, every ship, every station in council space. Let all their citizens see how their leaders have behaved. And we show them the Earth fleet, ready to support any world that wants true alliance, not exploitation. The crew looked at each other. After months of careful work, gathering information, building alliances, and sowing division, the final phase of their plan was about to begin. Get some sleep, Olivia advised. Tomorrow will be a historic day. One way or another. As her crew departed, Olivia looked out at the stars. The council had seen humans as weak, primitive, easily controlled. They had demanded Earth's resources while offering little in return. They had never imagined that one human could orchestrate their downfall. Tomorrow they would learn the price of their arrogance. The council chamber was filled beyond capacity. News of the conflict between Vantian and Krith ships had spread throughout the station. Representatives from all 7 council species attended, along with numerous observers. The tension in the room was almost visible. Olivia stood with her crew near the entrance. For the first time since arriving on the station, all 5 humans wore their full Earth uniforms. They had removed the small, respectful patches that had been added to show their provisional status. "Are we ready?" Olivia asked. Ryan nodded. "The broadcast system is under our control. One word from you and our message goes to every screen in council space. Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Olivia said. High Arbitrator Zorix called the session to order. He looked tired, the silver shine of his skin dulled with stress. "This council faces its greatest crisis in 2,000 years, he began. "The conflict between the Vantian Combine and the Krith Coalition threatens the peace of all our worlds." Killer and Zik immediately began arguing again. Other representatives joined in. The chamber descended into shouting. Olivia stepped forward. "High Arbitrator, I request permission to address the council." The room fell silent in surprise. Provisional members were never permitted to speak unless directly questioned. "This is not the time for Earth's concerns," Kaelur said dismissively. "Perhaps it is exactly the time," Zorix replied, his 4 eyes studying Olivia carefully. "The human has observed our proceedings for months. Sometimes an outsider's perspective has value. Commander Bennett, you may speak." Olivia walked to the center of the chamber. All eyes followed her. She looked small among the various alien species, most of whom were much larger than humans. "Members of the council," she began, her voice clear and strong. "For 6 months, I have watched how the 7 systems operate. I've seen how you interact with each other and how you treat new species." She paused, looking at each council member in turn. The council was formed 10,000 years ago with a noble purpose, to bring peace and cooperation among different worlds. But somewhere along the way that purpose was lost. Now the council exists to benefit the powerful at the expense of the weak. Murmurs spread through the chamber, some angry, some thoughtful. "How dare you criticize this council?" Kaelur's form rippled with indignation. "I speak only the truth," Olivia replied calmly. "Earth was not the first world you've exploited. We've accessed your historical records. 23 species have been granted provisional status in the past 1,000 years. All were subject to increasing resource demands. 6 of those species lost their independence entirely when they couldn't meet your demands." The murmurs grew louder. Some representatives looked uncomfortable. "This is outrageous," Kaelur shouted. "The human has accessed restricted records." "Is it untrue?" Olivia asked simply. Zorix raised a hand for silence. "Continue, Commander Bennett." "The council presents unity to outsiders while scheming against each other in private," Olivia said. "The current conflict between the Vantians and Krith is just the most recent example. But there are others." She turned to the Solari representative. "The Solari have been denied equal trade rights for centuries, despite their technological contributions." Next, she faced a reptilian being. "The Draxi Imperials pay twice the transit fees of other members for supposed security concerns that were resolved 300 years ago." One by one, Olivia named long-standing grievances that each species had against the others. Grievances that were discussed in private but never addressed openly. The chamber grew increasingly uncomfortable. "How do you know these things?" Zorix asked, his voice quiet but intense. "Because you underestimated us," Olivia replied simply. "You saw humans as primitive, weak, easily controlled. You never considered that we might understand your technology well enough to access your communications, that we might form alliances with your citizens, that we might see the flaws in your system." A new voice spoke up. It was Nyx of the Solari. "The human speaks truth that many of us have known but feared to say. This council no longer serves all its members equally." "What do you propose, Commander Bennett?" Zorix asked. "You have criticized our ways. Do you have alternatives to offer?" This was the moment Olivia had been waiting for. She pressed a small button on her wrist device. A holographic display appeared in the center of the chamber. It showed hundreds of ships arranged in formation. "This is Earth's fleet," Olivia said. 500 vessels, built while we appeared to comply with your demands. They wait at the edge of council space. Gasps and cries of alarm filled the chamber. "Is this a threat?" Kelur demanded. "You dare threaten the council?" "Not a threat," Olivia corrected. "An opportunity. Earth does not want war. We want partnership, real partnership, not exploitation disguised as alliance." She looked around, the chamber again, meeting the eyes of each representative. "Earth proposes a new agreement, not with the Council as it exists now, but with any world that wishes true cooperation, equal trade, shared technology, mutual defense, no world dominating another." The chamber erupted in voices, some angry, some intrigued. Olivia waited patiently for the noise to subside. "This is impossible," Zorik said finally. "The Council has stood for 10,000 years. It cannot be remade by the demands of a provisional member." "Then it will fall," Olivia said simply. "Already the Vantians and Krith stand at the brink of war. The Solari have expressed interest in a separate alliance with Earth. How long before others follow?" She gestured to Ryan, who activated another holographic display. This one showed thousands of internal council communications, records of secret deals, evidence of exploitation. "We have prepared a broadcast," Olivia continued. "It contains all of this information, the truth about how the Council operates. We can send it to every world, every ship, every station in Council space. Let your people decide if this is the leadership they want." The room fell completely silent. "You would destroy 10,000 years of civilization," Zorik said softly. "No," Olivia corrected. "We would help build something better. The choice is yours." For a long moment no one spoke. Then Nyx rose from his seat. "The Solari Confederation withdraws from the current council structure," he announced formally. "We support Earth's proposal for a new alliance." To Olivia's surprise, the reptilian Draxi representative stood next. "The Draxi Imperials also support this proposal. We have been denied equal voice for too long." One by one, representatives began to stand. Not all. The Vantians and 2 others remained firmly opposed. But it was enough. Zorix looked around the chamber, then back at Olivia. "It seems, Commander Bennett, that you have accomplished what no one has managed in 10,000 years. You have changed the course of galactic history." "Humans adapt," Olivia said simply. "We observe. We learn. We find a better way." 3 days later, representatives from Earth and 4 former Council species signed a new alliance agreement. The terms were fair to all worlds. No single species held power over others. It was the beginning of a new era. As Olivia watched the signing ceremony, Zorix approached her. "I underestimated you," the former High Arbitrator admitted. "We all did. We saw your physical size and assumed mental limitations as well." "A common mistake," Olivia replied. "One the Council will not recover from," Zorix said. "You've shown others a new path. The old ways cannot continue." Olivia looked at the diverse beings now talking together as equals. "Change can be difficult but necessary." "Indeed," Zorix agreed. "I wonder, Commander Bennett, did you plan this outcome from the beginning?" Olivia smiled. "I planned to create leverage for Earth. How that leverage would be used depended on what I discovered about the Council." "And what did you discover?" "That any system built on exploitation eventually destroys itself," Olivia said. "All it needs is a small push at the right moment." Zorix nodded slowly. "The Council underestimated one, human, and we have paid the ultimate price." "Not the ultimate price," Olivia corrected. "That would have been war, destruction, suffering. Instead, you've paid the price of change. And in time, you may find it was worth the cost." As Zorix walked away, Olivia's crew joined her. "It worked," Ryan said, still sounding surprised. "The Council has fallen and no shots were fired." "The greatest victories don't require weapons," Olivia replied. Just patience, observation, and understanding your opponent better than they understand themselves. They looked out at the stars, visible through the station's massive windows. The future was uncertain but full of promise. Earth would no longer be exploited. Instead, they would help build something new, an alliance of truly equal worlds, all because the Council had made one critical mistake. They had underestimated humanity. It was an error they would never have the chance to repeat.